Let's meet at the library. Okay.
Hey everyone, it's Julia and welcome back to my channel. Today we are here to do my March wrap-up. Due to the chaos of the world currently, I had a lot more free time and I got to read a lot, so this is a pretty good wrap-up for me. So in the month of March I read 9 books, plus I had 1 DNF. Amongst those 9, I read 1 ebook, listened to 2 audiobooks, read 2 graphic novels, but those aren't all mutually exclusive. You'll see shortly. In my wrap-ups, I start with my lowest rated read and work my way up to my favorite for the month. So we are going to start with my DNF, even though I don't know if it's fair to call it my least favorite, but because I didn't get through it, it doesn't have a rating, we just have to start here. Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. This is cute and I didn't dislike it. My issue was I made the mistake of watching the movie before reading the book, and because it doesn't look that long, but for a contemporary novel to be over 500 pages, how can you possibly have that much to say about how crazy rich these Asians are, you know? So it just felt like really slow paced, a lot of detail spent on things that I didn't want versus things I did want. So like I was getting a lot of information about food they were eating and things they were wearing and things they were buying, and I wanted like introspection into Rachel and Astrid's minds. Wasn't really getting that. So I decided to just let this one go, say oh well. I will rewatch the movie and adore it just as much as I did the first time, but the book didn't really need to be a part of my life. I'm sorry. So luckily in the month of March, my lowest rating was 3 stars, which is solid. I'll take it. It means like, hey, you weren't the worst. First up, we have The Walking Dead Volume 4. Every time I do a wrap-up, I start with The Walking Dead because I want to love it so much and they just won't let me love them because the writing team probably hates women, but we won't deep dive too far into that. My biggest complaint from this issue, other than the general nonsense they put Carol through, would be the fact that like Rick is having this really interesting mental breakdown, and you know, he's kind of getting more violent than he even said was allowed within their group. So there's like all this interesting like political drama happening, and so while he is like knocked out for however long, some other people gather and they're like, Rick, you can't really be our leader anymore. We made a committee and it has me and this guy and this guy and this guy. So while, oh no, it was me, like not me, but the guy who was saying this, he's like, it's me and this guy and this guy and you. So I'm like, you're telling me that you're telling this man that he's not mentally stable enough to be the leader, but he can be on the committee. A committee made of an even number of people, and all those people are men? These are the sirens going off in my brain. Doesn't make any sense. Andrea belongs on that committee. She's so capable. She's been a part of the group from the beginning. And like, what happens if the committee votes and there's a tie? They made a committee of 4 people. Who's the tiebreaker? Just slap Andrea into the committee. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. I'm very scared of the next volume because I think that's when something really major happens. That, or maybe like volume 6. And I'm gonna keep reading. I complain every time, but I'm gonna keep reading. Just so I can do a big, beautiful essay at the end of all this. Also at 3 stars, this is an oddball for me. I almost burped. This is There Are Girls Like Lions, Poems About Being a Woman. That's right. I read a book of poetry. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze, I'm sorry. Great. So this is a collected book of poetry, so it's not poems all by the same author, which is good and fine, and I liked it. Was really diverse, and I obviously enjoyed the theme, all about like womanhood and the different things that that means. Here's where my personal bias comes through. I strongly preferred all of the older poems, not all of them, but all of my favorites were older poems in this collection. So like there was an Emily Dickinson I liked. There was, oh, A Plaint of Complexity by Eunice Tietjens. Freaking loved that one. Probably my favorite in the whole thing. I really liked, I'm trying to find, because I know, The Heart of a Woman by Georgia Douglas Johnson. Oh yeah, what's this one? Loose Woman by Sandra Cisneros. That one's actually only like from the 90s, but still, it was like none of the modern poetry really spoke to me because for some reason it just doesn't. I'm a nerd who needs like a rhyme scheme or some kind of rhythm, or else I don't understand why you just wouldn't write in prose. And that's on me, and I admit that. But overall, cute. Oh, I didn't even show you. It's got like all these beautiful illustrations through, so that's cool. Yeah, I liked it. It was okay. Next up at 3.2 stars, there's no dust jacket on it, so I have to hold it up spine first. Oh, I read A Court of Mist and Fury. Can you believe it, guys? So here's the dealio. I don't know how I want to hold this. How about right there? I don't know how she did it, but Sarah J. Maas really salvaged the dumpster fire that was the first book and followed it up with something that like wasn't an affront to all my senses. And I mean that like my moral senses, my aesthetic senses, like all of them were not offended. I can't even fully put it into words. I vlogged reading this, so you can really get a deep dive into my thoughts. That'll probably be up first. It's this side. So go check that out. Dare I say that I care a little bit about this book or the things that transpired in it?
Are you crazy? Maybe so.
But you didn't hear it from me. Next up at 3.5 stars, that's 3.5, we have Fun Home by Alison Bechdel. This is a graphic novel memoir which inspired the musical of the same name, which I was much more familiar with before going into this. Familiar with the musical before I went into this. I'm really good at talking. I liked it. It was pretty powerful. It feels weird to like rate stories about someone's real life, and Alison Bechdel has had a lot of like real stuff happen in her life and in her father's life, because it's a lot about her growing up and her dad being closeted and her in college like realizing that she's a lesbian, so like they're both gay, and there's so much more to it, but that's like an underlying thing throughout the whole entire graphic novel. It's heavy, but and it's a little verbose at sometimes. Like, I love a good SAT word, but there were a lot of times that I'm like, really? That's the word you chose to use? Okay, it's fine. But overall, I don't regret reading it. It's a very quick read. It's pretty powerful, so yeah, if you're interested, check it out. Moving up into the 4-star reads, we have 2 straight up 4 stars, and one of those is Anne of the Island by Ellen Montgomery. This is the 3rd Anne of Green Gables book. It is very cute. I mean, it's hard to complain about Anne of Green Gables because it's just so wholesome and sweet, except for the scene trigger warning for animal abuse, where they had a stray cat and they tried to chloroform it, but then it didn't die, so then they were like, well, I guess we'll just raise it. What? Historical books are so weird, you guys. Anyways, this was really cute. But other than that, this book was really sweet. My biggest complaint is that it didn't have enough Gilbert, because in my mind, I bought this adorable cover and I was like, yes, this is what Anne and Gilbert are really gonna get together. And like, technically, yes, but it was like so 11th hour, and I wanted the whole book to be the journey of Anne and Gilbert. And really, it was the journey of Anne constantly being in denial of her love for Gilbert, and Gilbert being like, but Anne, hey, remember me? No? So that was a little frustrating, but it's so cute. You just can't hate it. Also at 4 stars, oh my god, I finally finished this monster. It's Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. This was so satisfying to finally be done with, you guys. Where do I start? I think everyone knows what Outlander is about. It's about a woman in the 1940s who accidentally time travels back to like the 1800s in Scotland, and she's an English woman. That's why she's an Outlander. Events transpire. This is Jamie Fraser. What you need to know about him is that he started off 10 out of 10, I'm in love with him, and decreased down to like an 8 out of 10, maybe 7. I don't know. Okay, let's get a little spoilery for a second. So like early Jamie, like engaged by force basically, and like newlywed, that Jamie, sweetest jelly bean there ever was. Like Jamie when he was a virgin, precious. I love him. He's perfection, and he could never do anything wrong. Like, it's impossible. Cue like page 500 or whatever, when Claire runs off and he's like, well, when I did something wrong as a kid, my dad would beat me. So that's what we're gonna do to stress the seriousness of the situation. And I was like, I understand that that's like your upbringing and it's like cultural and period appropriate, but that doesn't mean I have to like it, and that doesn't mean I have to just like ignore it. Like, it still bothered me. It was eating me up inside. So didn't love that. And then also, like, the longer their relationship went on, I feel like the more aggressive the sexual content became. And like, look, I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum, and you can call me vanilla, but like the early scenes were very sweet and very tender, and then there just became a lot of scratching and a lot of biting, and I'm like, can you guys take it easy? There's enough dangers around you just in the world. I don't need you like accidentally getting a bloodborne pathogen in bed. Like, stressed. I was stressed. So that's Outlander. Will I continue the series? Probably eventually. Am I in any hurry to? No. I don't even know if I'll watch the show. I don't know what I'm doing with Outlander. All I know is that Jamie had my heart, kind of lost it, but then they got me with that last page, because you know, if you've read Outlander, you know how I feel about certain tropes, and they just deployed one right at the end, and I said, well, okay. Next up at 4.4 stars, just shy of that halfway mark, we have Henry VI Part 3. My brain went, I'm Henry VIII I am, and I had to talk through that. Again, a nice loved tabbed Shakespeare Folgers edition, my fave. Yeah, this was a solid conclusion. I think the Part 2 was kind of the so-so one of the trilogy, if you will, even though the Roses has a lot more plays in Shakespeare's stuff. The War of the Roses, that is. What is talking? So yeah, it was like part 1, yeah, part 2, okay, part 3, yeah, again. Like, it was solid. I love Queen Margaret. She's amazing. This was a while ago now that I read this, so I'm like trying to separate it from the other 2 parts of the play and see like specifically what happened in this one. I love all the use of like prophecy, 'cause it's like just really interesting for historical events to be kind of foreshadowed. I mean, listen to this. Margaret, tell him my mourning weeds are laid aside and I am ready to put armor on. Like, this chick goes to war for her son. Right on. Right on, girl. Ugh, so good. So good. I'm not even saying anything. I'm just kind of remembering how much I love Shakespeare. So, no one is surprised when I say a Shakespeare play, I really enjoyed it. Let's move forward. Finally, buckle up. We have 2 5-star reads. I'm talking full 5 stars. I'm talking beautiful, perfect. Where are your flaws? First up, Cersei by Madeline Miller. Oh my god. Whoa. Okay, so writing, beautiful. A retelling of Cersei, who is a mythical figure from the Odyssey / other mythologies. She's super cool. She's like a witch. She's the daughter of Helios, the sun god. What is there to know about her? She's amazing. I love her. I love like how introspective this novel was, because like I really felt for Cersei through the whole thing. Yeah, and I loved that even though she was a divine being, she like had this human voice and really sympathized, like literally they couldn't tell when she spoke that she was a goddess, and that she really sympathized with humans and like wanted to be where the people are. And that theme, I think, comes full circle very beautifully in this book, and had a lot of themes I enjoyed, feminist themes, themes of maternity, just a lot of great stuff. I liked that women, well, weren't really pit against women. And I loved that Cersei was like such an empathetic character. Like, she would do something and then be like, oh, I feel really bad I did that. Or be like seeing someone who needs help and wanting to help them. And overall, she's just a good egg. And this book is so dang good. Oh, I liked it even more than the song Achilles. What? Finally, my last book of the wrap-up, another full 5 stars. What if I cry while I talk about this book? It's Lovely War by Julie Berry. Listen, Heather has been warning us. She's been telling us. Everyone else who's been sleeping on Heather's advice, don't sleep on mine, because I'm going to add my voice to hers and say, read this book. It's flawless. It's beautiful. I cried so many tears. Okay, so Lovely War. It's historical fiction. It is technically, it's like a story within a story. So it's set in the 1940s originally. And it's the beginning is sort of based on the myth where Aphrodite and Ares are caught in the golden net by her husband. And so that's happening, and instead of being put on trial, they have that trial right there with just them, and later with some other gods who show up as not evidence. What's the legal term? I don't know. But so the main part of this story is Aphrodite telling the story of our 2 main couples, in World War I. This sounds so complex, but it makes perfect sense in the book. Like, it's so easy to follow along. And they were perfect and beautiful, and I cried a lot. And this book is going to be featured in another video that I'm making, because I'm going to do, if you like this book, listen to this musical, or vice versa. And this one, like, as I was reading it, I was like, this is so apparent. This is obviously what I need to do, and people need to know. So, yeah. I loved this. All of the characters, beautifully fleshed out, gorgeous, such, like, high emotions, good and bad, you know, tackled the prevalent issues of the time and didn't gloss over them, but wasn't, like, just misery after misery. Like, there were good things too. Yeah. Oh my god. New favorite book. I mean, not like my #1 new favorite book of all time, but yeah. Oh my god. Read it. Yes, so there we have it. Those are the 9 books that I read in the month of March. Overall, pretty solid reading month. I don't have too many complaints, and I'm excited to see, like, the longevity of these books in my mind, you know, because, like, sometimes you read a book and you don't think that you, like, loved it, but then you find yourself thinking about it for a long time. So I'm curious, like, which of these books I'll still be thinking about in a month or two. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. Yeah. Leave a comment down below if you have read any of these books to share your thoughts with me, or if I have changed your mind about any of these books or made you realize that they exist. Why am I casting a spell on you? I don't know. Yeah, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you'd like to stick around and see more from me. Thanks so much for watching, and you'll see more from me soon. Bye!